Hello and welcome. Um, we're about to take it to the Mikestand. So tonight is the Friday night forum. So I'm to join me tonight for panel discussion tonight. We're just going to do this kind of kick back, do some niche talk, or even as Bat Goat put it the other day, geek out. So so if you guys want to join me in the studio, just click the link and you'll be able to come right in. As soon as I see you guys come in, and I'll let you into the studio to share your thoughts, and we can talk about just about anything and everything that's niche. Up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, it's Superman, Man of Steel, Superman. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And like we have one other person in here. Maybe that's Anon. Maybe it's somebody else. As I said, opening up the studio tonight for anybody who'd like to join me in the studio. Hey, Woody. Hi, Mike. It's me. Yeah, I see you, Woody. I have the link up if you'd like to kind of come in and join me in the studio tonight, talk talk niche and stuff like that. Gonna go off camera for just a moment here. Okay, back on now. I'm just the only reason I haven't said anything too much. I'm just waiting to see if anybody decides to come into the studio. So how you guys did? Well, I know Woody, you're the only other person here, I guess, because I know Anon will probably be here soon enough. Um, it's Superman, Man of Steel, Superman. Da 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 da. Da. Hey, back up. I'm here. Hey, y'all. Hey, Batgoat. Batgoat, I put the link up already if you want to come in and join me in the studio tonight. Maybe give me a few minutes to set up my PC sound. All right, that's fine. Like to try to have the forums here to where in fact I'll even put up the link again just so you guys see it. I know Batgoat, you wanted to come in and talk about, the voice actors of the Smurfs. I'm looking forward to that. Also came up with some ideas to talk about as well. Oh, I'm eating right now. Okay, so you need a few minutes to eat, then you'll come in. Is that what you're saying? Spider-Man, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size. Can't you see? Just like flies, look out. There goes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen up. He's got radioactive blood from a string, from a string. Take a look overhead. Hey there. There goes the Spider-Man. In the still of night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light, he arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size. Can't you see? Just like flies, look out. There goes the Spider-Man. There goes the Spider-Man. Let's see. Yeah, charging headphones too. It'll be a bit. I didn't do my homework on Smurf VAs. Laugh out loud. No problem. We can still talk about it. I can. I know. I know them, and I can look them up real quick if we need be. I know a few of them already. So like I do remember Lucille Bliss was the one who was the voice of Smurfette. I think the guy's name who did Brainy Smurf was a guy by the name of Danny Goldman. I think Hal Smith did the voice of Papa Smurf, I believe. And of course, there are a few veterans in there like Frank Welker and June Foray who did their fair share of voices for Smurfs as well. So, hmm, let's see. Uh, Let me see now. In the Great Hall of Justice, world America's greatest heroes, our super friends. Superman, da 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 da. Wonder Woman, da 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 da. Batman and Robin, da 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 da. Aquaman, da 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 da. Black Vulcan, Samurai, Apache Chief, El Dorado, da da da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who oppose his shield must yield. To the red and the white and the blue it comes true when Captain America throws his mighty shield. Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with the hottest wheels. As Iron Man, all jets of flame, he fights and fights with repulsor rays. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Doc Bruce Banner, belted by gamma rays, turned into Hulk. Isn't he glamorous? Wrecking the town with the powerful, ain't so monster. Who isn't lovable? Ever loving Hulk, Hulk, Hulk. Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the blooming heavens roar. There behold in splendid wonder the god of thunder, mighty Thor. Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere, he can breathe underwater and go flying through the air. Noble submariner, prince of the deep, so beware of deadly demons. Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I got some ideas, as I said, talking about, we'll wait to see if we can get some people in the studio. They could just kind of clue you in there. Some of what I was thinking about talking about tonight. Obviously, um, one of the of course, one of the things I'll talk about is the comic adaptations that became cartoons, particularly from DC and Marvel. So we'll get into that a little bit. Brenda Vaccaro, Jonathan Winters, Fred Travalena, to name a few. Yeah, Jonathan Winters, he lent his voice a number of times to cartoons back. I know he was also, when, back, I think it was about 72, 73, around there, the new Scooby Doo movies. He also guest starred on that a couple of times, I believe. So um, that was pretty interesting. Scooby Dooby Doo, looking for you. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? All the stars are here, waiting for you. Couldn't have a show without you. Scooby, Scooby Doo. Hey, Scooby, where are you? I'm right here. Da, 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 da. Now, again, for those of you who are just coming in as well, I have the link to the studio app if you'd like to join me in studio, talk niche. Um, we have 4 people in here right now, so hopefully, some of you will decide to come in. Hmm. Yeah, that's right. He did do the scoop celeb thing in the '70s. Yeah, a number of people did. I know Don Knotts, I think, went on an episode. Sandy Duncan, Jerry Lewis, um, Tim Curry, um, even Batman and Robin actually had a couple of appearances. Of course, the Batman Robin, the Hanna Barbera version, voiced by Olan Soleil and Casey Kasem. Casey Kasem, who also did the voice of Shaggy as well. ATC, hey, how you doing, man? I just put the links up, so if you want to come, I joined, but I'm way too sauced. Ah, man. Hey, toys. ATC, man. It's fun when we have more people than the more the merrier. You know. Uh, how's your day going, ATC? About loud. Not too bad. Not too bad. Except for the fact that you're sauced. I hope it wasn't because you had a bad day and felt the need to drown your sorrows in alcohol. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go off screen for just a moment. Right, I'm back. Oh, I already got 5 people in here. Knees bad, but it's always bad. Laugh out loud. Drinking it's just help me. Yeah, I know alcohol has a tendency to help numb the pain, right? It's because 2020 sucks. There's always a reason to hit the sauce. I would hope to give you guys an alternative than just hitting the sauce. True back. I mean, coming in here and geeking out, which, you know, I think would be a pretty good idea. Let me, in fact, I'm waiting for you guys. Let me set up. Hmm. Oh, hello. Hey, Woody.
Hey,
I was just,
let's see. I guess.
yeah. We're now we're getting to see each other face to face, huh?
Okay. I guess so. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, good, good. I couldn't get my PC working, so I'm just using my phone here.
Uh,
Seems to work. Got to figure out a way
I'm
to hold it steady. How have you been, Mike?
all right. Just pretty much just staying close to home and in my room and stuff. Just doing research here and there, playing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and watching my animes and cartoons and all that. So just
Yeah. Let's see. I get a little light on my face or something sometime. But you were missing a few words on that Spider-Man song. I think so.
yeah, I know. Well,
He,
it
he
was in
spins a web.
syndication. Go ahead. Go
No, it's
ahead.
pretty.
Go ahead.
Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. In the heat of night, at the scene of the crime, at the speed of light, he arrives just in time. I don't.
Spider-Man.
You actually were
Spider-Man.
carrying it pretty good.
Yeah.
Friendly neighborhood for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Something about Pete, he's ignored. No. Wow. Okay, you're right. You did it just as well. You did it better. Okay, but I can do the
Yeah.
Super Chicken song. I don't know. Anyway, that's
Oh
an
yeah,
old
from
favorite of mine.
Super Chicken from the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, right? I recall.
Um, actually, I think it was on the George of the Jungle show, but the
George of the
animation
Jungle.
looked
That's
looked
right.
looked pretty
Jay Ward
similar.
Productions. I did a promo video on that when I was still doing the on the mic segments before I was doing live
Was
streaming.
that was also Jay Ward? It did look like it. I just never was
Yeah,
quite sure. Yeah.
yeah.
But well, when you find yourself in danger, when you're threatened by a stranger, when it looks like you will take a licking, there is someone waiting who will hurry up and rescue you. Just call for Super Chicken.
Again.
If you're in trouble, Fred, you'll have to overlook it. Besides, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it. He will drink his super sauce and throw the villains for a loss, and he will bring them back alive and kicking. There is one thing you should know when there is trouble. Oh, there is one thing you should learn. When there is trouble, you should turn to. That's not quite it. Okay, that's a fail. Pretty good. Call for
Well,
Super Chicken.
hey, as long as you're
Never
having
mind.
fun, that's all that really
Oh, that's
matters, right?
fun. The old shows were pretty good, but yeah, I never caught on to anime. It wasn't available to me when I was in my kind of formative culture years, and I turned off my TV about 2005. I moved up
Yeah,
to the mountains and decided I was spending too much time watching old black and white movies on Turner Classic.
yeah.
I
I mean,
spend entire days.
I actually stream more stuff online as well. I don't watch as much TV. I don't really care for the modern stuff. Good evening, Woody. Hey, look here, Woody. Let's see. Good evening, Woody. Hey, Woody.
Oh yeah, I'm not seeing
Yeah.
the chats here. Maybe I can tune in on one of my computers maybe and watch that.
Oh,
Can't.
hit the sauce.
Oh, better turn off the
I would hope
sound.
to give you guys an alternative than just hitting the sauce. I mean, coming in here and geeking out, I think would be a pretty good idea.
I'm forgetting how to use my computer.
I mean,
Okay.
fact. Book for Super Chicken.
All right. That's better. Now I can see the chat. Hi, back go. All right. Yeah. This is good stuff. George of the jungle, friend to you and me. Oh, watch out for that tree. Ooh.
Yeah.
When he gets in a scrape, he makes his escape with his friend, with the help of his friend, an ape named Ape. I don't know. Oh well,
Yeah,
those were
granted,
good
I
old
haven't seen any of
cartoons.
those. I
I
haven't
tell
seen
you,
any of those cartoons in years, though. But even they were still on when I was because I was grew up in the '80s. But by the time I was watching them, they're already in syndication. So like out here KTLA and
yeah,
CDTV were picking them up as syndication. So see, back good as
yeah. I'm
mute
an
the
old
other page.
guy. I'm a 57. That was back when Chevrolet Fins were the highest, and they sent up Sputnik, and they invented Fortran.
Oh yeah,
And me.
you're 57 in I'd say in about a couple weeks here on October the 7th I turned 45. So
That's a good round number.
1970. I was born October 7th, 1975. Of course, I happen to have the same birth date as professional wrestler Rhino as well.
Rhino.
Yeah.
Oh, here I can see myself on that one. That's a little different view.
Yeah.
Yeah, holding this phone. I'll get a little holder, but yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. I'm trying to run Unix, Ubuntu on my other computers now, and I'm just haven't quite ever got all the drivers and stuff straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
But I do a little bit of animation on the side. I worked in 3D graphics for a long time during my career.
Mm.
I just remember. I mean, I kind of like one developer I worked with helped make Render Man and was working at Pixar. And when they came out with Toy Story, in the Luxo Junior, there's the name Mickey in the credits, and I knew that guy. His name was Mickey Mantle, and he was a programmer making Render Man. So I feel like I've rubbed elbows
This
with
must
a
be a
lot of
different Mickey Mantle
people.
from what I'm thinking of, because Mickey
It,
Mantle I'm thinking of is the baseball player.
it is. Yeah, well, I saw him play once too. I'm old enough. Dad brought me to the baseball park once when we visited
Well,
Grandpa in
if
Queens.
if depending upon when you turn 50, when you turn 57,
Well, no, born in '57. I'm 63. So yeah.
oh, you're 63. Okay, you're 63. Okay.
So I say
Um,
I was saying '57 was the year.
okay. So if you were
So
born in
yeah.
57, that means you're 63. So I'm gonna guess then you probably grew up watching a lot of cartoons throughout the 60s, then, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Saturday morning was pretty much packed. I knew what I was doing Saturday mornings till noon.
Mhm.
That was about it though. There were three channels, and
The three
we
main
were
network
watching one of
channels,
them.
right?
Yeah, it was even before PBS started really spreading out very much.
Yeah, let's see.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Mickey Mantle, Woa.
Oh, I see. I'm losing connection on my other connection, but not this one. Oh, yeah. Yeah, these phones are pretty amazing these days. Never thought I'd have a computer in my pocket when I was growing up, but that's pretty neat.
Mm, yeah. See, as I recall, obviously now a lot of these cartoons were, as I said, already in syndication. But these are probably cartoons you were growing up on, like a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, the
Oh,
Flintstones, the
oh,
Jetsons. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and those weren't Saturday mornings. Those usually would show. I think they were already in syndication by then. I think
right.
those were made. Well, they'd come on at 4:30 in the afternoon or something. There was a
Yeah,
little bit of an after-school block, I think,
right.
for things like Yogi
And for
Bear,
a long time, that's what a
Flintstones.
lot of those syndication blocks were like after school. Like when I was growing, by the time I was watching cartoons, it's like you'd have a syndication block in the morning from as early as 5:30 to 9, and then you'd have the afternoon block from like 2:30 to 5. So um, those were good times, though. You get home from school and
But
you get to watch. You know,
it
like
it
I
was it was great. I
mm,
was the same age. I felt like I was the same age as Johnny Quest. I was the same age as Will Robinson on the Lost in Space show.
mm,
it was all that stuff was really made for me. I felt like it's really Spider-Man cartoon show and the Fantastic Four. I remember those standing out as some of the first
yeah.
surreal superhero shows.
Well, that
Uh,
Fantastic Four cartoon that was from '67, that was done by Hanna Barbera.
yeah, I
It was
really
part. It was
liked
part of
that.
that. It
I
was
guess it
part
was
of that
because
set of superhero cartoons that they had. Like Fantastic Four was one. You had Space Ghost and Dino Boy, the Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles, Birdman and the Galaxy
Frankenstein
Trio.
Jr. Yeah, that was a weird thing. That was fun. A giant Frankenstein.
Oh,
Mm. Oh, there
so
was some good
Batgoat's
stuff
got a
back
bit of a
then.
question for you here. Woody, do
Yeah.
you ever watch old Twilight Zones or other mystery sci-fi and think, man, one smartphone ends this story in 30 seconds? So you want to field that question there, Woody, for Batgoat? Yeah, I'll put it up for you. Hey,
Oh yeah. Well, I
can you
mean,
see it?
I remember seeing the Outer Limits. Yeah, the Outer Limits scared me a few times, pretty much. I don't even remember the names of those adventures, but yeah, that was a creepy show. I just remember there were some little miniature flying saucers that landed somewhere, and there were these ant things with faces. Oh, they give me nightmares. I, I,
Yeah. Well,
I can't.
one of the other big things about the '60s across the board media wise was the was really the influence of sci-fi. I mean, you know, not just in cartoons either, but even in live action shows like Star Trek. You know, the campy Batman live action series. There was some sci-fi stuff. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, that was definitely first run. I was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah, loved Batman. I even bought junky old posters at the store and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what Batgoat has to say. Meaning, looking at old sci-fi through today's eyes is funny. Yeah, it probably is considered funny because it's probably by today's standards would be considered very campy.
Yeah, man, those little things gave me nightmares. The Outer Limits, especially, I guess. Not the Twilight Zone was maybe horror is a little more advanced, I think, than sci-fi as far as for kids anyway. The horror takes a little more of a understanding of the plot lines and stuff, but science fiction will grab you on a lot of levels as a kid, I think.
Well, yeah,
I
because
don't know that.
like even like when I've sat there and I've decided to try to go back and look up old synopses and of comic books and even read some old comics from like back in the 30s and 40s. The way they saw sci-fi and stuff was pretty interesting for the time period. So, um,
But that was also my formative years for pro wrestling. I was telling you in that one little comment on your last video last weekend that I used to get to go to a couple of house shows of the AWA.
so where did you live? Where you don't have to
Was,
be super. Where?
oh yeah,
But
I
what
don't mind.
state?
I grew up it was in Colorado Springs, but we were part of the Minneapolis territories, so that's the
Right.
TV we got. It was years later we started getting a little bit of NWA on some of the other channels, but
Well, yeah,
I
it wasn't. Yeah, it probably wasn't until like the late '70s, at the very least, with the advent of cable, and then in the '80s when you got in, when like you saw the establishment of the whole sports entertainment um angle,
yeah.
you know. So
But I was just saying to you there the other day, though, that I don't know, without the live house shows, it's just never been the same. It was like the
mhm,
TV was really there to drum up people to show up at the house shows, and that's where you'd get the real audience heat, and that's what
right.
made it fun. You'd get people in the crowd screaming and yelling, saying, "Hey,
Well,
didn't you see it pulled a hair?" And the ref would say, "I didn't see any hair pulled," and you'd say, "Ah, ref." It's
yeah.
always
Well,
fun,
yeah,
fun
that's
stuff.
the thing. If you want, the thing is, if you really want to see good house shows, then what you got to do is you got to like go to your local events, because nowadays,
But
like as you
they just
know, well, yeah, like when
they don't
you
really
were
have them nowadays.
well,
But
when you were growing up, there was the NWA and AWA. Those were the two main, and as you know, there was a lot of territory. NWA had expensive territories all over the country. AWA had expensive territories. Nowadays, you don't have that as much, but what you do have is you have the big organizations like WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, and NWA is still kind of a big deal. Maybe not the same level as it once was, you know, but Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, he bought it. He bought out the NWA back in 2017 as trying to make it more. And of course, you have All Elite Wrestling and all that now too. But aside from those big ones, you have a whole bunch of different, independents all over the country. Um, and the independents they run shows locally, and you might get that feel from that. Um, let's
yeah,
see.
I did get a chance to see a whole lot of NWA WCW shows. I lived in Raleigh Durham area for about 10 years, from about like 88 to
Oh yeah, the
98,
Mid Atlantic area.
and I got to see, and I had this line on front row seats at Dorton Arena. For some reason, they held back the first couple of rows till the day of the show, and I had a job where I could take off at noon and go to the box office, and so I had front row seats to. Well, of course, back then it was dying, so they'd only fill up 6 or 7 rows anyway.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Those were fun days. I remember seeing
Mm-hmm.
Rick Rude. Somebody in the crowd shouted to Rick Rude, said, "Sensational Sherry, kick your ass." And he
Oh, that
said,
was probably at a
"She
WWF show.
does." Well, he wrestled in the he came to WCW once late in the game. Whoops, lost my phone. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Well, I lost Woody there for a sec. His phone, I guess, kind of somehow. I think he bumped his phone. Hopefully, he'll come back in a moment. But yeah, so we'll have him back in hopefully in a moment once he can get the phone down. Yeah, that's apparently what happened. But hopefully, he'll be back in a few moments here. Oh, we're down to. Oh, he's back. What do you do? Slap your phone for some reason?
I'm trying. Yeah. This is my first time trying this kind of stuff. I was hoping I'd be able to. I have a decent sound system here. It's just not quite all being seen by my Ubuntu system yet here.
Yeah, no problem.
I do a little bit of
I guess we lost a
amateur
couple
animation.
people. I think we
Oh
were up to
no.
5 people, but it looks like we're only got 2 people
See,
right now.
I'm not a good guest.
Well, I
You
mean,
need to get one of your anime
I
people.
think I think part of it too is when we got on, like, you remember last week when we started talking wrestling, and they started, their attention started turning away a bit, because I know you and I are into wrestling. I think ATC might be into it a little bit, but the other guys are not. So, I kind of do it more minimally, unless, obviously I have somebody to talk to about it. But yeah, so with that, one of the other things I was thinking about today is I was looking this up too earlier. Um, what? You're a great guest, Woody. I'm just not a wrestling fan. Laugh out loud. Yeah, yeah, Bat Goat told me that before.
Yeah. I can't see myself over there. So let's get back to cartoons then. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yogi Berry, a Huckleberry Hound show spun off of Yogi Bear. That was another good one.
Actually, I think
Pixie and Dixie
I
and
think Yogi
Augie
Bear
Doggy.
actually spun off of.
You're right. You're right. It was the other way around.
Because Huckleberry Hound, I think, came out
had
in '58, and Yogi Bear debuted in '61.
You're right. It was one of those things. So they were already in syndication, sort of.
I do my homework.
You do. You're quite knowledgeable about these, Mike. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, these are kind of, even though they were in syndication already when I was watching them,
but
these were kind of
Beanie and Cecil.
Huh?
I want to talk about Beanie and Cecil. That really was my favorite cartoon when I was little.
That one was one I didn't actually see, but
wasn't that really was on. Bob Clampett did that, and I think he was in charge. There was a puppet show originally, the Beanie and Cecil thing,
I do
and
know
so
that.
When he made the cartoon show, he stylized the characters to look kind of like hand puppets done on a homemade stage. It was a hilarious show. It was full of puns and adult humor. I mean, humor meant to be understood on multiple levels. He went out. He was out. Beanie was out on a boat with his uncle Captain, and there was really no one on the boat, but there was a crow, I think, that lived in the crow's nest, and the captain would obviously had a red nose and would go down and drink in the boat, and then he would occasionally he had a fold out girly calendar that would come down. And he would throw confetti or something, and you could tell he was starting a party down there, and leave Beanie on deck to do the adventure with the sea serpent. Very funny.
I do remember.
You couldn't do it now.
Also, yeah, I do remember like the Flintstones and Top Cat started out as evening cartoons, actually. Like Flintstones, in fact, was I think like an animated form of the Honeymooners, from what I remember. I
Yeah.
barely see. Here's what Batgoat has to say. I barely remember it. It was on syndication. Death Rows. When I was real little in the early '70s. Um, but by my by my by mid '70s, I believe it was done. So yeah. So yeah, like one of the things I always like, particularly about some of the Hanna Barbera cartoons, that the anthropomorphic characters was just it's like if you saw Yogi Bear walking through Jellystone Park, it's like you wanted to go hang out with him. It's like you want to probably go walk through the park with him. Maybe he'd share. Maybe you figured maybe he'd share your maybe he'd share your his stolen but picnic basket with you or something like that, or go on the rounds with Huckleberry Hound and go, oh my darling, oh my
Oh my
darling,
God.
oh my darling Clementine.
Hey, hey, boo boo, it's time to scoot with the loot. He was those were good stuff.
Yeah.
What else was there? I was just having a thought and then I lost it. Hey, it's tough going online here. You feel like people are watching you, even though it's just Batgoat.
Bat goat, da 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 da. Bat goat, da 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 da. Bat goat, da 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 da. Bat goat. Anyways,
Well,
I
I
I hope
remember
Bill joined
now.
us because I know he wanted to talk about Smurf VAs, and I told
Jetsons,
him,
Jetsons. That's one thing. I know when Scooby Doo came out, see, I was already a teenager then, and I looked at that dog and I just said, that's just Astro. Rillo Roach. The Hanna-Barbera dogs were already pretty well in place.
well, yeah,
Quick
well,
Draw
you had
McGraw
Scooby,
had
yeah,
a dog named Snuffles.
you had Scooby
He was
Doo,
an
you
awful
had
lot like Astro.
Astro, you had Dino Mutt, who also looked a lot like them. You eventually had Scrappy Doo too. Let me out! Let me out!
Yeah,
I'll splat him. Voiced by the late great Lenny Weinrib, of course.
that was that was funny. That was sort of like the final years, kind of like Gazoo in the Flintstones.
Yeah,
Kind of breathe in a little more life with the character.
yeah. Well, yeah, and
Gazoo
then
was fun. He was
again,
so
Great
cynical.
Gazoo,
He was like, "Oh,
another sci-fi element added to one of those classic cartoons. So here's what Batgoat had to say here. I thought Huckleberry was cool. I would have hung out with him. Yeah, but I
yeah."
was on last week still eating. Sorry.
And then Augie Doggy was Jimmy Durante.
Yeah.
His voice was an imitation of Jimmy Durante.
Yeah, as I
The card
recall, I
the
believe
voice
Augie Doggy was voiced by John Stevenson.
was he? Okay,
The,
I was wondering about that. That
yeah.
was yeah, but he was definitely an imitation of Jimmy Durante's act.
Mm-hmm.
My son, my son. Da, da, da.
And then there's
Let's see
Snagglefoot.
what else is there.
Exit stage right or stage left.
One of those.
Yeah,
A thespian. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I'll bet Batgoat's about ready to come on and talk about that some of that other stuff.
well, the Smurfs VA.
The voice
Well,
actors, yeah. Now Dawes Butler is, I mean, to me, he's the main voice of most of those Hanna Barbera
oh
characters I used
yeah,
to watch.
Yogi Bear for one. Well, him and Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc was another one. And here's the link again for anybody who'd like to join Woody and I in the studio. Anyone and everyone is welcome to talk Nietzsche here in the at the Mikestand.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now more of a live action memory there. Those were the days when you were there, when girls were girls and men were men. Mr. Hoover. You remember where that's from? Where that song's from?
No. Oh, Archie Bunker.
All in the Family, and Archie Bunker's place.
The way Glenn Miller played.
Songs
that made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had
it made. Those were the days.
Were the days.
Oh, apparently somebody is here.
All right.
Bat Goat. Hey, Bat Goat.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'll pull up also something else here, just screen share something else, because I know one of the things you wanted to talk a little bit about tonight was the Smurf voice actors and actresses.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't do my homework. I was going to probably write down some of the names just as I was watching an episode, because I literally watch Smurfs almost every day. And
well, can you guys see that okay? Or I'll probably be reading off some of it anyways, but
yeah, I can see it.
All right. Yeah, so you had Smurfette, who was voiced in the cartoon by Lucille Bliss. Probably not as, of course, she was basically the main female Smurf. She was created by Gargamel. Gargamel was voiced by Paul Winchell, as I remember. So,
was there ever any other female Smurf?
Late in the cartoon series, there was Sassette.
Oh.
Sassette.
You remember when they brought in like the little kid Smurfs?
Smurflings, yeah, they got made by accident because they went through. Yeah, they were fooling around at Father Time's place, and they went into his big clock, and they went back into time. And when they got back to the village, they were like, they didn't even really realize that they'd been turned into Smurflings. They were just like, let's get back to the village, and they were playing, and Papa Smurf was like, yeah, well, guess what? There's no way to undo this. So everyone just accepted. All right, well, so it was Natural Smurf, and
Sassette. Oh, here we go. I found him right here.
Wait. Let me. I just saw it. I was trying to bring it up off my head, but okay, yeah. So Snappy Smurf, he's kind of like got a bad attitude, and then Slouchy, and then they created Sassette because they thought that Smurfette was feeling lousy about not having like a girl Smurf to hang out with and talk about her hair or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Smurfette was for the longest time the only female Smurf in the like Nat Smurfling, Joey Carmen did the voice there. Pat Music, who did a number of voices in cartoons, did Snappy Smurfling. Slouchy Smurfling was actually, this is one of those occasions where a girl actually did a little boy character, Noelle North, and I believe she also was involved in Scooby-Doo too.
Remember, I mentioned that. I mentioned Brenda Vaccaro. Brenda Vaccaro. She's got that kind of scratchy voice like that. So I think Brenda Vaccaro did Jokey, maybe. She's. I remember her name being on early.
That wasn't Brent. That was June Foray.
Okay.
Let's see.
Who did Brenda?
I'm sure because I've seen it. I'd seen it before. Let me see. The cartoon. It was June Foray.
Okay. Yeah.
Who was known for doing who was known, of course, for doing Granny in Merry Melodies.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay.
I actually met June Foray back in 2006 at Annie Magic. So
that's cool. Very cool. You see that word as you're scrolling up and down? You see on the left that word? That's what it is in French.
Oh,
you see it like
you mean
like,
in,
so
Belgium and Dutch? You mean Schrumpf?
It's Strumpf. That's so the dude who invented it, Peo, he's Belgian, but he's with his friend and they're speaking French. This is the way I recall it from a bonus DVD I was watching, and he said that Peo was saying, "Passe-moi, give me," and he was like snapping his fingers. He couldn't. He was looking for the pepper shaker, and he couldn't say it, so he just threw that out. The Schtroumpf is just a made up word off the top of his head because he couldn't think of saying the word pepper shaker in French. And then they laughed about it and they thought it was funny. And then that kind of, I think they'd already been working on the idea for the Smurfs. So it just kind of, that's how it came together, just in a weird, stupid way.
Yeah. And Brainy Smurf, of course, was voiced by Danny Goldman and Barry Gordon. So a couple of not as well-known Clumsy Smurfs with William Now, William Calloway, who did Clumsy Smurf here, he did Aquaman on like from Challenge of the Super Friends through the 1980 version of Super Friends.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don Messick, another legend in voiceover. He did Papa Smurf. He also did Scooby Doo, who we were talking about a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
He did, for a long time. I think Scott Innes took over for him in the 2000s, I believe. But yeah, so Michael Bell, another longtime well-known voice actor and live action actor. He did Grouchy Smith. Michael Bell did Zan from Super Friends.
Okay.
He also had a guest shot on Star Trek: The Next Generation on the debut episode Encounter at Farpoint. He was the alien ambassador that they were talking to.
Okay.
So, let's see. Frank Welker was Hefty Smurf. Frank Welker, another well-known.
Welker is a classic.
Freddy from Scooby-Doo. Let's see. He actually did a number of voices on the Transformers cartoons too, the G1 Transformers cartoon, including Megatron, Soundwave, Trailblazer. I mean, he did all of Soundwave's cassettes as well. He did all their voices and vocal characterizations. Hamilton Camp did Greedy Smurf. Already talked about June Foray doing Jokey Smurf. Wolfgang Puck was Chef Smurf.
He wasn't greedy. He wasn't greedy. You think of Greedy did all the cooking, but I don't remember Wolfgang Puck.
Well, yeah. Well, it says here he was in the movie because Chef Smurf was not a part of the cartoon, I guess.
Okay.
He was in the comics and the movies, I guess.
All right.
Vanity Smurf, the one with the mirror all the time.
Yes.
Alan Oppenheimer, another classic VA. Hey Woody, did you ever watch the Smurfs?
I guess not. I was exposed to them a few occasions, but I didn't really watch the show.
Yeah, it was like it ran from 81 to 89, so you probably were already cartoons were not as big a deal for you.
I was out of college and working by then. Yeah.
Yeah, Woody, I was 12 when 1980 hit, so Smurfs was my thing for sure. We loved them.
I was 5 in 19. I was like 4 going on 5 in 1980. As I was telling Woody earlier, I'm just like a few weeks away from my 45th birthday here.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny because 1980 also, of course, November 26th, 1980 was significant. It was probably one of my all-time, if not my all-time favorite Christmas special debuted on November 26, 1980, Yogi's First Christmas. That was like my all-time favorite like cartoon.
My favorite's Emmett Otter, Jug Band Christmas.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I love that one.
That was a great show.
Yeah, that's a classic.
And there was another good classic Christmas special too that came out in 1970. Woody, you might know this. You might have heard of this one, Santa and the Three Bears.
No. That one I
Oh, you
must have
don't know
missed.
that one. That one came out in 1970.
Was it Rankin Bass?
I'm not sure if it was Rankin Bass. Yeah, I can. What the tale was
No.
is that it was kind of similar to Yogi's story. Bears experiencing, but in this case, they were exposed to it. Because their local ranger told them about the legend of Santa Claus. Then they got excited and they were begging their mother to let their mother bear let them stay up through part of winter to try to see Santa. But here, I'll look up the information here.
Now, one I remember was Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
Oh
That was a
yeah,
really
with
fabulous cartoon.
yeah.
It was just touching, and it had beautiful music. And I always liked Mr. Magoo because I'm half blind, and it was okay to make fun of blind people back then.
Yeah, he was cool. I like Magoo. But that Christmas special, you thought that's like late '60s or '70s, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Magoo came out in the 60s.
Magoo was actually earlier, yeah, but the Christmas Carol was kind of a late remake, half-hour special for Christmas they did one year.
Okay.
It has fabulous music, and that's the thing. So whoever wrote the songs for that is really brilliant.
So okay, so from what I've seen here, Santa and the Three Bears came out November 7th, 1970. It was produced by Tony Benedict Productions. So the plot summary is this: two young bears, Nakomi and Chinook, know not. Well, here maybe I should so you guys can see it too. Here, I'm gonna switch the screens over here real quick to where you guys can see what I'm talking about here. I have it on a separate page, separate Wikipedia page. So there's what I'm there, of course, is what I'm talking about there. So I'll go ahead. So two young bears, Nakomi and Chinook, know nothing of Christmas until the local park ranger tells them about the legend and they become curious to meet Santa Claus. Their mother, Nana, is preparing for winter hibernation and cynically tells her children there is no Santa, but they are determined to believe. Mother finds it impossible to begin their sleep since the young cubs wish to stay awake until Santa arrives. And among some of the voices here include Hal Smith as grandfather Santa and Mr. Ranger. Now, Woody, you may know this. I don't know if you know this as much, Backo, but Hal Smith throughout the 60s and 70s was Santa. On a number of Christmas specials, Hal Smith was Santa Claus. Okay.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with him.
And then Gene Vanderpill voiced the role of Nana here. Gene Vanderpill, as in the voice of Wilma Flintstone and Rosie the Robot from the Flintstones and the Jetsons, respectively. So that came out in 1970. Was actually a pretty good, pretty nice one because actually it's a unique one too in that it's a unique one in that it's unique in that even though it was mostly anime, they actually had some live action scenes in it where what it was is like the live action scenes was like an old elderly guy, a grandfather figure, basically talking to his kids about the story of the three bears meeting Santa Claus. So the anonymity, hey, just got off driving home. Hey, anonymity. Well, I hope you're enjoying what we're talking about. Talking more cartoons tonight. Yeah, I couldn't really find much in terms of news items. I figured it'd be a good night to just geek out and talk niche. And I got two guys to talk cartoons with, in fact. So here, let me pull, of course, the Smurf page back up.
Anonymity. They were talking wrestling, and then I got on and went to cartoons.
Again, I cover many different forms in each: wrestling, cartoons, comics, manga, anime.
All
Maybe
good.
maybe not as much manga because I don't read manga, but I love all entertainment as long as it is entertaining. Yep. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. So looking at some more of these. Handy Smurf was also Michael Bell. Oh yeah, Alan Oppenheimer. Going back to Vanity Smurf for a moment. Alan Oppenheimer. Again, another guy who did a number of voices over the years. And I think he's actually still alive. I think he's like this guy's had a career going as far back, at least back into the 70s. Yeah, he's still alive. Look at that.
Wow. Look at him.
April
That's
23rd.
awesome.
He's 90 years old.
Oh, he's a rock star. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's take a quick peek at some of these. Well, okay, they don't have them in list form here, but um, Swifty, and the narrator from The Adventures of Mighty Mouse and Heckle and Jekyll. Um, I know. Okay, include Thundar the Bar. Well, okay.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. Thundar the
But,
Barbarian is my guy.
yeah.
Oh hell
Well,
yeah!
actually, I think Robert Ridgely was the one who actually did Thundar's voice, but it would be very well known that Alan Oppenheimer was probably in there with some of those as well. Alan Oppenheimer is done. He was also in the as you notice down a little further, he did a few voices for the Transformers, including the Pacifist Beachcomber and the Bellicose Warpath, among others. So and I know that he also did work for Filmation on He-Man and She-Ra. He was Man at Arms. He was the voice of Man at Arms,
Okay.
as well as Skeletor, Merman. Um, he basically he did a number of voices though.
A lot of the bad guys.
Some of the bad guys and some of the good guys. And if you've heard his voice over the years enough,
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you said Man at Arms.
Yeah. You would know his voice though, because actually he did Cringer and Battle Cat as well.
Okay.
So talk about two very distinct voices, like the cowardly Cringer, like he's talking about Adam, I don't want to be Battle Cat, and then being the brave and very bellicose Battle Cat.
I just watched a video today on. Have you ever seen Defunct Land or Defunct TV? Talking about a lot of old Disney stuff and spin off onto TV shows that are no longer around. But
no, I haven't seen it. But
he was talking about the Ghostbusters cartoon, not the real Ghostbusters, and like the whole thing about the Ghostbusters comedy show that was on like Sid and Marty Krofft, like back with ISIS and stuff.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that to you too before.
Okay, yeah, and so they brought up Filmation in it because Filmation did the Ghostbusters. They brought it back in the '80s, right when real Ghostbusters came out, but it just didn't do as well. People didn't like it as much.
Yeah, well, that's something I was telling you about too. The part of the reason why they used the phrase "the real Ghostbusters" was to help distinct like the movie from the Filmation cartoon.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it was a question of rights that Filmation had them from its 75 inception.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm chewing candy.
No problem.
The Crofts did regular cartoons too, huh? I only remember them from those live action kind of things like HR Puffin stuff.
HR Puffin stuff. When
No,
you
no.
get
You're correct, Woody. What I'm talking about in '75, the Ghostbusters, the very first Ghostbusters was a half-hour sitcom, but I think if I remember correctly, they split it up. But yeah, it was live action with Larry
was this
Storch. The Ghostbusters had
the cross? Oh,
had
Larry Storch. I remember
Larry
him from
Storch
F Troop. Yeah,
and the other guy from F Troop. The two of them were the Ghostbusters.
DeForest Kelly. No, Forrest someone. Yeah. Never mind. I'll shut up.
But they were neat. I mean,
Forrest Tucker.
Forrest Tucker, and Larry Storch. Yeah, they were a pair.
Well, Larry Storch was, I think, involved in a number of Filmation productions. I believe he was also involved with the Groovy Ghoulies in the early '70s as well.
Okay.
Actually, I'll look that up real quick because I remember.
Who was it? It was like someone and the Groovy Ghoulies. Sabrina.
Yeah. Good call.
Oh, and get this, Larry Storch is still alive too.
Yes, I love it. He's a rock star.
Yeah, I gotta show you guys. I gotta show you guys this page because he's even older than Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer I saw was like 1930. This guy was born in January 23. He's like 97 years old.
Wow, dude. Check him out. That's awesome.
Well, this picture, according to the thing there, this picture is from 2011, 9 years ago, but that still would have made him 89.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, according
to looking good.
Lawrence Samuel Storch, born January 8th, 1923, is an American actor, voice actor, and comedian, best known for his comic television roles, including voiceover work for cartoon shows such as Mr. Whoopi on Tennessee Tuxedo and His Tales, and live-action role of the bumbling Corporal Randolph Gom in F Troop, also on television, so like
Agarn. Corporal Agarn.
Yeah. But I also know that he did, let's see.
Forrest Tucker was always smashing him with his hat.
Yeah. But here's
the Hekawi Indians.
Where the heck are we?
Where the heck are we?
Oh, that wasn't all of it.
That joke never gets old.
Where the heck are we?
Yeah.
That is a classic.
Yeah, he was, as I said, he was on a number of the he was on like Groovy Ghoulies, the Brady Kids, let's go to the Groovy Ghoulies for a moment here. Let me see. I think he was Drac. If I remember correctly. Let's see. Okay, they don't show the. Where's the? Oh, there's voice cast right there. So yeah, on there he did Drac, Hagatha, Goulahan, Batso and Ratso, Icky, additional voices. Now, when I was watching it, of course, it was Groovy Ghoulies and Friends, and it had a number of. They brought a bunch of Filmation cartoons together as a package deal. You had the Groovy Ghoulies, you had Frady Cat, Mush, Wacky and Packy, Lassie's Rescue Rangers, The New Adventures of Gilligan's Planet, New Adventures of Mars.
Gilligan's Planet.
Gilligan's Planet was a cartoon done by Filmation, I believe. That
Wow, it sounds so vaguely familiar, or so like.
Well, it was based off of the Gilligan comedy show. I think I just misspelled it, so that's why I'm having a little bit of trouble finding. Of course, Gilligan. I know live action. I don't know who played him in I don't remember off the top of my head who played him in the Filmation cartoon, but in the comedy, he was see there's it right there. I don't know if I
82
ever
to
had
83. 82 to 83. Like,
that
if
was
I
later.
saw this, I just barely remember this, but like I never saw syndication or reruns or DVD. I mean, that's something I'm remembering from my childhood. I was in high school then when that was on.
Yeah.
Or, I
Well,
mean,
apparently they did use the with the exception of Tina Louise, of course, they did utilize all of the original cast members from the comedy series.
And then Lou Scheimer is in there. Lou Scheimer and
is that how you pronounce his name, Scheimer?
Scheimer, yeah. Him and Water. I forget the other guy's name. He and the one other guy created Filmation in 1955. They were. Scheimer had been in the business doing something. Oh man.
I know that he had been you know I because nobody ever said it around me. I never knew how to. You probably heard me a number of times say shamer, schemer. You know,
I'm a German Jew from LA. I know how to pronounce those names.
Yeah, but well, the thing is too. Aside from starting Filmation, of course, he would provide a number of the more like comedic voices for the characters, and like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, he was like Orko, Attack Track. There's some of the more odd, but he was also also did some of the more serious voices, like he was King Randor, and of course he carried that over to She-Ra as well.
Okay.
Now we're talking about cartoons now. Okay, so here's the information on. So actually, Filmation was founded in 1962.
62.
Yeah, and the founders were Lou Scheimer, Norm Prescott, and Hal Sutherland.
Sutherland and Scheimer met in 57. That was the video I was watching today. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I think I even did a video on because I think prior to them starting, they had worked. Yeah, they worked for Larry Harmon Pictures.
Yeah, I see that. Very cool. Yeah, and
remember Hanna-Barbera, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, before they started Hanna-Barbera Productions, they were working, I think, for MGM for a while.
Okay.
So, of course, you can check all this information out because I did a few of the Cartoon Network studio profiles, and I'm still doing the On the Mic segment, so you can look those up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, did you still want to look at some more of the voices from the Smurfs there, Batgoat?
Where'd you leave off?
Huh?
It's just you left off at a good spot. We'll bring that up next week.
All right.
Because there's a ton of them, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there were many. Well, according to lore, I think there was according to the lore of Smurfs, there is 100. Like 100 Smurfs.
There's 100 Smurfs. Yeah. And you read and the voices. When I watch cartoons, the even from season 1, the voice actors' credits is 4 pages. I mean, it looks like they must have hired 100 people.
Well, yeah, as I said, Paul Winchell was, of course, Gargamel. Paul Winchell was another well-known voice actor back then. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I know, Woody, you haven't been saying too much. You've been letting me and Batgoat talk.
Yeah, you're doing great.
That's all right. He started and I'm finishing.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure everybody's getting a chance to speak because I mean, it's always good to have these back and forths. I can come on like night after night and like read news articles, but sometimes there's not a whole bunch of there wasn't a whole lot of news today either. Some news pieces go. So sometimes it's just good to have nights like this where we just come in together.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to get some guests for next week because I know on Tuesday, Vic's appeal. They're going to be reviewing. Now, granted, there probably won't be there probably won't be a decision on Tuesday, but there won't be a ruling Tuesday on Vic's case more than likely. According to Nick, it would be like 20 to 60 days. Woody, I don't know how much you know about this, but what we're talking about
I've been following it.
Okay. Excuse me, one guys. I'm going to go off camera for just a moment here.
Yeah.
I think most of us that consider ourselves geeks know what's going on.
I came in here via Ethan Van Sciver and Nick Ricciuta.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Yep. Love those guys.
Well, I've seen Batgoat also on Tug's stream before too.
Tug, love Tug. Tug's my guy.
Yeah, yeah. I know lately he's been doing more mainstream stuff. Hasn't been doing as much on the comic side of it.
Well, hopefully they kick that thing downstairs back to Judge Chupp's court so that we get more drama. That's one of their options, is just to make a couple of decisions and then Chupp do the rest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they could dismiss everything, or they could uphold everything, but I don't think they would. I mean, if they really do look, if they look at everything submitted, I think either they will reverse Chupp's decision on all accounts, or they'll probably reverse some and remand others, because there's no way that anybody cannot realize that Chupp was being lazy. He was being lazy. Okay, there's no way I know Nick has talked about the whole idea that appellate judges don't like to overrule district judges, as a matter of cause. But I mean, come on. I mean, it's evident that he was trying to get rid of this case as fast as he could.
I agree with that, Mike. That I don't think he was lazy. I think he was dismissive, and he had an attitude of, this is below me, this is garbage, this is junk, this is some little intertubes drama. I think he seemed just upset and peeved at the whole thing, and just didn't seem to care.
Yeah, but what I worry most about, though, is because it's in the courts where precedents are set. If they uphold Judge Chupp's decision, which I hope they don't, I hope they have enough common sense to realize not to do so. Mm-hmm. But if they uphold Judge Chupp's decision, that's going to open the door wide open for this kind of garbage to happen. It's like, you're not even going to have due process. All you got to do is just say, oh, he did this to me online, and it's going to be taken as gospel. And that's not how we just had this erosion of our country.
Chupp doesn't understand the internet. That's very obvious. He doesn't understand social media. I mean, he just doesn't get it. But I mean, we all know. Nick's talked about this before. He just doesn't get it.
He's probably really good with cattle rustlers.
Oh, a funny thing is, apparently Chupp was trying to promote himself. He was running for an appellate court seat, and he got defeated. You guys hear about that?
Oh yeah, he got spanked good.
But I don't see how you can't say that stuff isn't tortious interference. They were they were calling all the conventions and saying don't honor your contract. That's
Well,
and then they called it.
again.
He found him to be a public figure based on the crowd in the courtroom. That was interesting too.
The thing is that, as I understand it, I may have a slight misunderstanding of the general idea, but in terms of, like, I feel that Vic could be considered a limited purpose public figure because within the realm that he's in, within the realm of anime, he actually is pretty well known. Okay. He's one of the most popular anime dub voice. Now, he may not have like mainstream. It's not like he's a general purpose public figure, because it's not like he could just walk down the street and everybody's gonna, unless you're an anime fan or something like that, you're not gonna know who he is just by, like, he's not like President Trump. Everybody would know who President Trump was if he were to walk down the street. Okay, that'd be considered a general purpose public figure. But limited purpose public figure, I guess, as Nick explained it, it's more because he's injecting himself into a issue of public concern that would make him a limited purpose. But I would also think that could apply to the fact that because he's well known within the arena he's in, that could also possibly be considered limited purpose public figure. But
yeah, I couldn't come up with those words, limited purpose, but you're right, it is plausible. Yeah,
but
and that makes it fair game to say nasty things about him on the internet, I guess.
Yeah. Well, also people will determine people's fame by the number of followers they have on social media too. It's kind of funny. For the most part, people sit behind their screens anonymously, and yet they're considered famous. It's, kind of a leap in logic there.
So is anything ever going to happen with the our boy Zach versus Mark Wade? It looks like Wade is going to succeed in just stretching this thing out year after year, I guess.
Well, I haven't been. I haven't followed that case. I did. I don't know if you were here when I did report that Wade is actually supposed to be going back to DC by the end of the year. I haven't been following that case though, but from what I understand, it's similar to Vic's case.
I listened to EVS today, and Zach was on EVS stream this afternoon, and he didn't mention anything about it. But he's just talking about what he's working on. They were just talking about the DC nightmare that's going on right now and what they're, oh my god. And so to me, it sounds like Zach is just like, right now it seems like he's just concentrating on succeeding and putting out products and just winning. That's what I got
goes on for years at a time. You got to,
They almost broke him, but then because they didn't, he's now so much better and he's so successful because of their just pure hatred and evil.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with SJWs, though. It's like they use those Saul Alinsky tactics, shout you down, defame you as much as possible, and they figured they would win. It's like, they've done it to I guess they've done it to, your boy Zach. They've done it to Vic. They try to do it to Kavanaugh. They try to do it to Trump. And get this, the whole Stormy Daniels situation with Trump, right? I think I just saw a headline. I think, what was it, yesterday or something like that? Stormy Daniels admitted that she lied about the whole thing with Trump.
I didn't see that.
I saw a headline on it. Apparently, though, she, in an interview, I guess, I didn't read the article though, but apparently, she admitted to lying about that. Apparently, so I don't.
And the other thing too is that no one cared. It literally blew up because no one cared.
They were trying to make a big deal out of it, and nobody really. Well, okay. Well, here's an interesting joke. I know we've talked about P. Greg Doucette before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I call Duchette? You know what my special little nickname for Greg Duchette is?
I can imagine.
The douchebag Michael Avenatti clone.
Okay.
Michael Avenatti was Stormy Daniels' attorney.
Yeah, no, that he's what a piece of work he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the genius that tried to coerce and what's the word I'm looking for? Not bribe. He coerced or he threatened Nike basically.
I didn't hear about that.
That's what he's in trouble for. I know he's got tax problems, and then for kind of like threatening or trying to strong arm Nike into some kind of contract or something. That's what got him
Oh boy,
on big charges. But he was
actually there are a few that going to make dinner. What's for dinner? Making leftover beef stew. Yeah. So yeah, but the thing is that, and as you notice, I haven't talked as much about the Vic case as much, only because there's not a whole lot to really talk about. You know, as Tug mentioned recently on a stream, it's not just the battle in the courtroom you have to worry about, but it's also the battle for the hearts and minds. You know, um, that's a big part of it too. It's like a back goat just muted himself. Yeah, but
is Vic getting any work lately? I guess that's the thing.
Well, I think he's got some stuff going on. I know he did one of those I know he was doing an audiobook a couple months back. I know he's still getting convention appearances too. Like he got I know he was at UltraCon a few weeks ago, and that's when some talk started coming up again. Yeah, I guess Bat Goat muted himself, but why did he mute himself? Or did I mute him? Can't unmute your guest. Oh, okay. He muted himself then. Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah, I hope they kick it back downstairs. I mean, the Knicks having so much of a field day with all this that it's kind of fun just listening to him comment about it. If it's all over with, it'll be over. But if it's going to come back down to the other courtroom, then there'll be all kinds of things to keep us entertained about that for the next few months.
Well, I think in a way, Ron is somewhat reminding me of Fred Flintstone in some ways. Oh, you're back, Bat Goat.
Yeah,
Ron
it's just going to the bathroom.
Ron Toy is reminding you of Fred Flintstone. Why is that?
Oh, you've seen some of the scenes. Foot in mouth.
Oh.
Fred sticking his big foot in his mouth. Yeah, Ron suffers from the foot and mouth disease.
Okay. Fred did go off sometimes. Yeah.
Ron's a strange, angry little man. Nick does not like him at all. It's when Nick goes off on Ron. It's but Ron's just a little worm. Oh.
Ron, I believe, needs to be straitjacketed, locked in a padded room somewhere so he can bang his head into the rubber walls for eternity.
Like Drexel, what's the story Drexel told? Or Nick and Drex told about what movie was that they were watching, and Drexel's dad goes, "The problem I see is he walked through town getting his ass whooped." What was that? So I'm just.
Yeah, thinking, I know that Ron likes to act like a tough guy. He likes to call himself the sheepdog, but he's more like a little annoying little chihuahua I could just see him trying to get up in people's faces at a convention, and they just taking him to the woodshed and blistering his side.
It really is like watching Nick in a punching bag when he does that stuff. But, yeah.
Oh well, okay. Nick's not the only one that Ron has issues with. I don't know if you guys saw some of the. I don't know if you guys caught some of the Knucklehead streams with him and Ken and the therapist Ken Jennings.
Yeah, I saw the interviews. I'm sub to Knuckleheads.
I'll have to tune in on that.
Yeah, stuff.
Rock on, Anon.
Those are tough interviews to watch. I mean, they're what, 3 hours? 4? No, the first one was 5 hours. And just listening to Ron go on, and he's so removed from reality. It's really hard to watch. And poor Cress, just sitting there like she looks so mad. But she kept it together and
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. I saw some of the clips that Nick was showing of that. Okay. That's
and then
Knuckleheads are.
And Ken Jennings was the other dude on there, and he's like a psychologist, I believe. Like he's a licensed therapist. You know what I mean? Like not a psychiatrist, but like a real therapist. And he was coming at it from a mental health standpoint, and it doesn't make Ron look good.
That must have been amusing. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ken were to call some mental health professionals in Texas to have Ron put on a 72-hour hold.
No, he can't do that. No, he can't do that. He can't do that. It's like it's illegal. It's out of jurisdictions. I was a paramedic, as you know, for 24 years. That's like you can't. It has a lot to do with perceived and real threats, and who's going to be your reporting officer, and who can sign a transport hold. Something like that is real difficult.
Yeah, but I wonder how many people would think that Ron actually probably does need to be put on a 72-hour hold.
We all do. But again, I like Drex's dad. I say he needs his ass whooped. But just because that's what we want to see, that's what he needs.
Doesn't mean that it's going to happen, nor would it be legal.
Happen, and it's illegal, and makes us as bad as him.
Well, if the appeals court sends things back down to the lower court so that there's more oral arguments, Ron's going to regret having blabbed
a lot of the things
so
he
much.
said. Yeah,
he's not going to have a good time.
I'm sure Lemoyne and that crew are going to not be too happy with him either.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. All of his transcripts getting pulled up in court.
Oh, he said this. He said what? He said this. He said this. Dude, you're a fool.
No, Your Honor, we're not lying. He literally said he was going to go up to Minnesota and beat up Nick for $40,000. Wait, what? Okay, here's what he said. He's so bad.
Yeah. Wow, so we're past the hour and a half mark already. So we had a good conversation, good set of conversations.
Yeah, we did. I'd say you getting ready to do your history?
Yeah, I mean, well, unless you guys want to talk a little more, but if you guys,
I'm good, Mike.
good.
I'm gonna pop out and say you do history.
Thanks for saving us there,
you guys can stay in and do history with me. You guys can comment on what I say.
No, history's your thing, dude. I'll pop out for the history.
All right. Well, Woody, you want to stick around and join me for the, give?
Oh, maybe... sure. I don't know.
Okay, well, fine. I'll stay for the history.
Yeah. Actually, I got before I pull it up, I just got to review for myself, like what the stuff was. 2002, 2005. A lot of this stuff's from 2000. So
he might surprise us back with something that's really poignant here.
That's true.
Well, it's just little it's little tidbits.
We're teasing you. You fill up a lot of air here, Mike. It's pretty ambitious to do this show every night. So,
Well, and sometimes it can get pretty tiring too, trying to keep talking for like for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Alrighty then. So here we go. So on today being September so it is time for this day in each history. Today is Friday, September the 18th, 2020. Let's take a look back at what happened on this date in each history. First off, we come to 18 years ago, 2002. On this date in 2002, Marvel Comics would put out on sale the first issue of the fourth volume of Captain Marvel on this date, 2002. So on this date in 2002, the first issue of the fourth volume of Captain Marvel would go on sale on this date 18 years ago today. From what I understand is you guys can see there on the thing there, originally this particular title featured Marvel, not Miss Marvel, not of course remember too, this is Marvel Comics version of Captain Marvel, not DC / Fawcett Comics version. See, anonymity seems to have something to say here. Let's see. Oh, he told us that. I just clicked that a minute ago. So did either you guys happen to read that title, or I don't know. Woody, do you even read comics or?
Oh no, not since a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anything comics for me would be late 80s max. I didn't know no comics buying through the 90s. This is the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Or no, I guess 30 years.
Except for of course the woke garbage that we've been seeing lately, that Yellow Flash and Tug and
correct.
even to a lesser degree you've talked about.
Yes, I pay attention. I watch all the news about it, but yeah, I haven't bought. That's not true. I bought it in some comics.
Yeah, speaking of news, not that I really do a lot of mainstream news as much, but something significant happened today that I don't know if you guys heard about. Judge Ginsburg passed away today.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You guys hear about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, as if we needed more heat in the election year.
I know.
We got some.
Yeah, I'm worried to say too much because I don't know your particular political leanings or ideologies. That Woody and I wouldn't want to I wouldn't really want to be divisive.
Oh,
here.
I'm sure I'm pretty much in agreement with you on things here. I just kind of steer clear when people.
Yeah.
I mean, you wait a couple of days before you dance on their graves. So.
Yeah. I think we just leave that stuff alone. That would be my.
Generally I do. What a lot of people don't understand though is they say you shouldn't talk politics with friends, but it's not really politics you're talking about. It's more your ideological values. That's what it really is. So, okay, so now moving ahead 3 years to 2005, on this day 15 years ago, from the Ford Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, WWE hosted its Unforgiven event on this day in 2005. Going back down to the results here. In the main event, you saw Kurt Angle defeat John Cena for the WWE Championship. Among some of the other matches on the night included Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch defeating the Superheroes for the World Tag Team Championship. Ric Flair defeating Carlito for the Intercontinental Championship. You also had Matt Hardy beating Edge in a steel cage match. I believe this is kind of the storyline that kind of got a little real because Lita was also involved in this. It was like kind of the idea of the affair arc and then on the pre-show on the Sunday Night Heat match, you had Rob Conway, who would after leaving the WWE he would actually eventually become a 2-time NWA World Heavyweight Championship champion. Don't know if you guys knew that. You probably didn't because you're not into pro wrestling, but
no, but I'm listening now. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just he after leaving, and that's what he looks like now. Okay. Remember, he was at one time a part of the he teamed up with Sylvain Grenet for a while there as La Resistance. Let me see. Trying to find when he he was released from the WWE in 2007. Trying to find where because I know it was after he left the WWE that he did actually win the.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, so he would defeat Tajiri on the Sunday Night Heat show. So those are the main things that happened in that. So moving on then. That happened 15 years ago today. WWE hosted Unforgiven from the Ford Center in Oklahoma City, where Kurt Angle defeated John Cena for the WWE Championship. So that was the main event of the night. So let me see. Let me go on to the next thing. This will be in the world of anime. Okay, so on this date in 2010, which was 10 years ago today, let's see. Bandai Entertainment released Mobile Suit Gundam 00, the movie Awakening of the Trailblazer. The movie premiered on this date in 2010. So the premiere of Mobile Suit Gundam 00, the movie Awakening of the Trailblazer, premiered on this date in 2010. So did either you guys watch that movie?
No, I was never into Gundam.
Yeah.
I have it on one of my lists, but I haven't gotten into it.
I started watching the set of Gundam series a few months back. I'm right now working my way through Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Actually, Dave Marks and I were having a good talk last night. Chatting was a night or so ago where we were talking about a movie that I told you guys about on the Nietzsche in History, Cleopatra, Queen of Sex. Yeah, and he went and watched that, and he confirmed that he understood why it was considered a flop. He explained it here. So, okay. So with that, we have one more interesting piece of history to go through. And that happened just 5 years ago on the Disney Channel. On this date, 5 years ago on the Disney Channel, premiered the cartoon series or animated series, whatever you want to call them, PJ Masks and Descendants Wicked World. I believe, debuted on Disney Channel, and PJ Masks would eventually go on to Disney Junior. So on this date, 5 years ago, on the Disney Channel, PJ Masks and Descendants Wicked World would premiere on the Disney Channel. So that's all that happened on this date in Nietzsche history. So you guys have any comments on any of that stuff?
No, it's all good.
It's all good. Oh, and I noticed earlier, Batgoat, you were talking about Top Cat. I took a quick look, and yes, the Phil Silvers show featured character he played, Sergeant Bilko, and that's what that was. It was from the 50s.
Sure, yeah.
Pretty much
there was a comic.
Similar gang.
Sergeant Bilko, I believe there was a comic based on that too. There was a comic book, Sergeant Bilko, as well, back in the 50s, I believe.
Well, that was a popular franchise, wasn't it? Like that, you had Sergeant Bilko the movie, and then was there a sitcom off of it as well?
I think that was just the plot line of the Phil Silvers show. I think they just called it the Phil Silvers show, but it was the bunch of army buddies.
I know there's a Sergeant Bilko movie though, right?
Oh,
Isn't there, Mike?
probably. Yeah, I'm just. I
I don't
Okay.
know about the
Okay.
movie. I do know there was a comic book based on it. That much I do know from
Okay.
my research.
But that's as soon as you said that,
Maybe-
yeah. I mean, it's a little before my time, but like I know that style, the way it talks.
Oh, it's before
hey,
my
you guys,
time too.
Maybe it was a recurring sketch. That's probably.
Yeah.
But they made a movie.
Yeah, no, that sounds right on. Very cool.
Well, yeah, but we'll probably go back to the Smurf voice actors next time I have you guys on. As I said, I'm going to try to get some guests on for next Friday. If I can do that, I'll have the guests on. Then maybe you guys can come back the following week for the forum.
All right. Very cool.
But yeah, so I guess this is a good place to wind everything down. Thank you guys for joining me, and thanks for the people who are in the chat tonight. Hopefully, it was an entertaining chat. And, you guys got a lot of good information, and maybe you'll either want to go and check some stuff out, or go back and reminisce and catch up on some stuff maybe you haven't seen in a while.
Did
Never know.
we do all right, Anon? If you're still watching, anonymity.
Well,
if you still watch us, did we do all right?
Well, I think he had mentioned that he was going to probably be just listening because he was entertaining a lady friend.
Yeah, we got the thumbs up. All good. All right.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you
Mike.
guys for joining me. I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys will. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining me tonight. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.